We got the folks that are joining us today on the call. We got Herve Francois from the Jurors. We got Jacky Hung from NorCal. We got Maria Lazo, who is a transplant from New York in Jacksonville. We got Leslie Wilson from Denver. We got Jen Filzen, the fairy godmother of the Not Your Average Investor Show community. We got Lee Bishop, the MVP of the Not Your Average Investor Show community. We got Miguel Sanudo joining us internationally from Spain, one of my favorite regions of the world, joining us as well. And we got Anthony Ditta from Jupiter, Florida, who is with us today as panelists. Let's see how long we can keep this thing going, GC. But first, what do you think, man? What's going on? Like, I see you smiling, man. What's going on in your head right now?
I think I don't know if I've smiled this consistently in my life before, because, just seeing this thing become real has been an amazing experience for me. I've got to tell you, when Pablo and I started this thing, the thought of having 10 people that actually saw value in what we were doing ever show up anywhere in our lives was like a dream. And to see you all here on the show, and to know that there are dozens and dozens and hundreds actually of other folks that are going to listen and watch, consume your stories here, means so much to me and to Pablo. And so I'm just so thankful. Starting JWB, and now this is going to be our 16th year anniversary in 2 days. It'll be our 16-year anniversary. So I have had the pleasure of seeing something start from nothing, and that process of it starting from nothing and becoming real and becoming valuable and becoming something that people are attracted to is something like that process is what I love. And when I think about our show over the last 2 years, today is a major, major accomplishment for all of us. It becomes more and more real. It becomes something that we all care about. And that I'm just so thankful to be a part of this community. So thank you all. You guys don't know what you mean to me and to this community. And really excited to shine a light on all of your stories. They're just incredible.
Yeah, likewise, man. I echo the same thing, right? To me, this is a dream come true. When we first started this idea, I remember Greg was trying to figure out the best way to make content that could tell the story of JWB and their clients and their team that we're all so familiar with. And I said, simple, Greg, you just got to give people a place where they can meet up and showcase your investors, and everybody is really interesting in their own right. And we're going to share some value and make people feel valued. And it's going to lead to a community, man. Trust me.
That was it. That's really what it was. It was over a drink at a bar, and I was like, okay, man, you know what? You got me. Let's do it.
Yeah. And as we were talking about things that we did not see coming, was these in real life meetups. We call Jen Filzen the fairy godmother of the Not Your Average Investor Show community, because she really took this mantle and decided that she wanted to host people in her home. She wanted to bring people together, and she hosted something. Jen, when was that? When was that meetup? Was that like January, February of last year?
That was August. It was the week that we started off Monterey Car Week. But to be fair, Drew Barnhill was the first in real life meetup in Atlanta when we were there in June.
That's right.
Got to give creds to Drew. And then, yes, Jacky came over to our house, as well as the Molines, Ken and Carolyn, and Leo for Aganon. Yeah, so it was a little party. So we had a good time.
I feel because there is rich information about Jacksonville, which is very local, and I cannot hear anything, anywhere that is so real, real people, talking about what's going on, in real time, what's happening in Jacksonville, and also inviting the local people, city officials, talking about Jacksonville. This is very hard to get this kind of information. So this is very good that, because interested in investing in Jacksonville. So I have to basically get on the meeting and to hear anything. And also, property of the week, that gives me the idea, what the Jackson real estate market look like, what would be the price range and what kind of house, and also basically, it's just tons of information that I can get, and it's pretty good. And this, apart from that, the second purpose was I also wanted to have my kids to listen to it, So, she might not know, like I said, but, later on, when it comes to the time, she would know, oh, I know JWB. And let me, see if I can dig more information just like I did, and then start the real estate investment.
So Pablo had me and Rene on the show Property of the Week. It was in June. I was in Atlanta, so I was teaching a class there. And on the show, remember Pablo? I'm like, hey, everybody, we're in Atlanta. Here's my cell phone number. Here's my email address. Text me. So then I get this text from Drew. Hey, I'm in Atlanta. And I was like, so we figured it out. And he's like, well, really, I'm in Woodstock. And I'm like, dude, we're going to be in Woodstock tomorrow morning. Let's hook up. So we did. And we hung out. Like, he had to take a picture of himself, like out in the parking lot, so I could like know who to look for. Like, we didn't know. Now, would I have been doing all of this without this one with me? Probably not. I'd have been a little vulnerable, but because I had Rene with me, I'm like, I can meet anybody. So that's what started the first one. And then the rest is history. I'm sorry, I cannot help it. I love people, and I wanna be with people, especially during COVID when possible. So that is why In Real Life became what it is and what it's gonna be.
So after a lot of reading, I ended up in Jacksonville. So I read a lot about you. I have some advices from friends. So that was my first time. Living overseas, as you can understand, make things a little bit more complicated. But JWB made all the process very smooth, from buying the property to put it on the market and rent it and solving all the problems. So it was very, very smooth and making everything very easy. From the beginning, they answered all my doubts and solved any problems. Coming to the show regularly gave me the opportunity to listen to the experts, you, and also understand what were the concerns of the rest of the people that, like me, were in this same journey. So it's very important to know what the people are thinking about this and what are the concerns and what they worry about. I always like it to hear about the insights and future turnkey property business with JWB. How you solve issues like renting and renewal leases, preparation work orders, eviction, tax savings, and more, which, as I've said, I didn't have any experience. Well, the experience that I had, the two previous managers that I had in Miami were a totally mess. So I was looking for a reliable one, and I ended up with you, which was total success for now. Because I always found JWB easy to talk to. Your honesty, dedication helped me to take the decision to invest with you. And since 19, that's what I'm doing. So this is a little bit my story.
My portfolio, my wife and I, portfolio with JWB, really started growing, and to the point where I needed to start staying a little bit more on top of what was going on in Jacksonville. As you know, I'm up here in Jersey. Haven't been to Jacksonville in a long time, since actually we bought the first couple of properties that we bought from you guys back in 2018. So I just needed to, and I thought that GC always did a great job on, keeping the community up with the trends in Jacksonville, what was going on, and, with rents and collections and inventory, and, the impact of rates and the pandemic on collections and occupancy and so on and so forth. So I was like, you know what, I take this a little bit more seriously. I was like, let me get to own more stuff with JWB. I said, so let me keep my finger on the pulse. And you guys obviously give out a lot more information that I can find online or anything else like that. You're obviously feet on the street. You're my eyes and ears and things like that. And then from there, it kind of transitioned into just an appreciation I had for both of you guys and the overall, JWB community. Look, I own shares in some mutual funds, right? But the portfolio managers of those mutual funds, they don't have a weekly show or a twice weekly show discussing the moves that they're making in their mutual funds, why they're buying this in particular, this or selling that stock and things like that. You guys aren't on once a week or once a month. You guys were on twice a week. I'm trying to keep up with you guys. I'm like, damn, they're on the show. That's Thursday already. You know, I was just on 2 days ago, kind of a thing. And so it came from, it started from, I'll try to make it when I can, to I have to attend. I got to be on. There's like a lot of things that I'm busy with work and this and that, and things are fine, but so busy I have to keep a schedule on my calendar of appointments and meetings and conference calls and Zoom meetings and so on and so forth. And these shows were never in my calendar. And beginning around, I'd say late summer of last year, I started putting in the calendar. I'm like, okay, 12:30 Tuesday, 12:30 Thursday, I gotta be here. To the point where now, like, business partners, clients, investors are calling me up and saying, hey man, can you meet up Tuesday at 12:30? Nah, I can't.
That's amazing.
I got this thing I gotta do. What do you gotta do? Don't worry about it. I got this thing I gotta do. I already told you, I got this thing I gotta do. I can't show up, you know? So, I mean, it was like, I got hooked. I was hooked, right? So when you're hooked on something, and nothing else matters. So I can't thank you guys enough.
Well, I have a confession to make. I've actually been following Greg since 2016.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I found him through Fortune Builders. And so I would go to the Ignite conference and the boot camps and I'd see him. But the unfortunate thing is in 2014, I had jumped in with another outfit and I found out about this new product called Turnkey Wholesale Properties.
Okay.
And so I jumped into Detroit and I bought 5 homes in Detroit for all cash for what you could buy 1 home in Denver for. And it has been a disaster.
Oh,
and
geez.
so by the time I met Greg, I was just snake bit.
Yeah.
And so I still have the 5 homes in Detroit. And I also learned that not everybody is ethical and not everybody is honest. And real estate really is local. So for my first foray outside of the Denver market, I was, very ill-advised, shall we say. So I'm kicking myself because really I should have jumped in with you in 2016 and I waited until 2021. I have been a longtime investor and didn't really know much about Jacksonville. And so for a variety of reasons, I just kind of watched it. So this show really gave me the confidence to pull the trigger. And I had learned about smart debt. And so the Denver market blew up and I had all this debt equity sitting in my Denver real estate portfolio. So since I'm a full-time investor, it's actually more difficult to do cash out refis because they think, oh, well, what are you going to do with that money?
Yeah.
And, they don't really like to hear that, oh yeah, I'm going to buy more real estate. They get, the bankers get nervous.
Right.
So before I jumped on your show in June, I was sitting on this pile of investment money and I was like, okay, let's go, let's buy. And so it took me 6 months, but I bought 4 properties and I've got 1 more that I need to pull the trigger on. But you guys have just been great.
To be fully creepy, stalking you guys online. Probably since about, I don't know, September of 2021, which is really when I fully committed to staying in Jacksonville for my back and forth New York, Jacksonville transition. So I went down there for the first time ever in the middle of the pandemic. And I realized I'm driving around with my mom. I do business with her. So we're driving around Jacksonville and we see it's deserted, and not fully, but like downtown, coming from New York, downtown is the most condensed area. And then coming to Jacksonville, it was like an apocalypse. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? This is so weird. It's like the Twilight Zone. It's empty. There's just a lot of, sadness everywhere. It was trippy. So long story short, I got into flipping a house shortly into that. And I just kept hearing JWB. All my contractors had something to say about this JWB. I'm like, what is JWB? And they're like, oh, they're the biggest investors in Jacksonville. They bought out the whole city, this and that. And I just kept hearing JWB, JWB, JWB. And I'm like, who are these people? I'm like, I need to like connect, you know? So I found you guys online, and then I found, first I found the podcast, and then I started seeing you guys are actually on Facebook, and then really on Zoom. And you can join the Zoom and I can ask you questions in real time. And all of this was like, whoa, they're just like an arm's reach away. And I thought that was really cool. So I love your guys' show because to me, as an outsider, it was like real-time news, right? I was still getting to know the city, and I'm still getting to know the city, but back then I was just really getting to kind of have a feel for where I should invest, where I shouldn't invest. I would go on the JWB website and see where you guys have your properties around the city. And I'd be like, okay, these are safe spaces for me to continue searching for real estate, because I didn't really know if I wanted to work with a company or, you know, just still feeling it out before I really got committed with anybody. And oh yeah, big stalker girl over here.
I got started with JWB back in 2019. I'm part of Fortune Builders Mastery, so I was part of the Passive Income Club, which is great, by the way. And there's multiple companies that do turnkey, and I was recommended by my coach there, contact JWB, which I did. And it was the best decision in my life. It really, really was. The process of buying a property and everything that goes along with owning a JW property is turnkey is not the word anymore. I think I'm gonna find a different word for that. But anyway, it's great. And so coming up to, so very satisfied with that purchases. I own 3 properties. Coming up to Jacksonville, you know, I flew in, when I was in Jersey, I flew down to see my properties back in 2019. That was my first introduction to the team of JWB. And then when the chance come up for the meetup, I had to come. I just had to come. You know, the 4 hours was kind of grueling, but people travel a lot further from Jupiter to come see everybody. It was great. It was awesome.
I just want to say that it's an honor to be part of this group, and you know, sharing this stage with Miguel, Herve, Jacky, Leslie, Anthony, Maria, Jen, and Rene, and Greg, and you, Pablo. I mean, it's amazing. You guys are wonderful every week. You know, as Maria said, that you know, it's the energy that you guys have is just amazing. You know, I wrote like 5 pages of something. I was real prepared. Like I'm always ready to say something. And you know, all kidding aside, the only thing I really want to say was that real estate investing is a people business. So this platform that you guys created, it just makes sense because we're, you know, as a real estate investor might be passive, but we're providing a people service for, you know, investors, I mean, you know, tenants and whatever it is you want to call them. So JWB's role in this is amazing, handling both sides of the coin. I am so impressed with the talent that we get to meet on these Tuesday, Thursday calls. It's just humbling. I mean, you guys are amazing. It's wonderful to be a part of it. Leslie said, you guys are wonderful partners, and I know Greg, you're blushing a little bit there, but it's a lot of fun to see you guys work together. It makes me want to come back. From the beginning, you know, I stepped out for a little bit. I was trying to, you know, run my business a little bit more and get involved in getting my thing off the ground and all that stuff. So I stepped away, and Pablo let me know that everybody was asking for me, like, you know, did Lee die or something? I mean, not that bad, but I mean, it was warming. It was heartwarming to see that you guys really wanted, you know, me to come back and just be bullshitting to you on the chat or whatever. I'm sorry I said that word, but you know, it's fun. It is fun to chat with everybody and to see the direction everybody's going, and it's just it was a fun year. It was a COVID year. It was terrible, and this was such a great platform to, you know, get to know everybody, get to see everybody. And I tell you, I know Greg thinks he's just espousing information out to everybody every week, week in and week out. We can tell who the new people are to come on and join by the questions that they have that we all had, you know, a year ago, right? Or two. And the funny thing is, I just want to say that it's a community of like-minded investors, right? We're all here to share and learn. And I think in the beginning of COVID, Greg had a lot of questions like, what are we going to do? What direction do the investors want to be in? How are they handling their tenant? What's behind it? And this platform let us air how we felt, where we were concerned about the tenants and what our concerns were. And Greg's team came up with solutions to help them out. It was amazing. I just loved it.